And I'm sure when you heard about this topic, a lot of interesting thoughts would have come to your mind, right? I mean, what is this all about? I mean, how can a webinar be called as a Queen of Hearts? And what is it that I'm trying to convey here? So yes, I'll reveal what exactly this entire exercise is all about. Some of you who have attended my Agile Coaching Masterclass, I do see a couple of them have already gone through this exercise. Some of you who attended my session in Hyderabad, you would not be knowing about this game because this is a new game which I have added in the Agile Coaching Masterclass. And it's a gamification exercise which we as coaches and which we as transformation agents should be using. So that's the whole intent of having this webinar. And first of all, thanks to all of you for joining. I know it's a little late hour in India, but I had mainly kept in for people working in United States of America and UK. And yeah, and that was the reason why I kept it at 9 p.m. IST. Otherwise, we normally keep our webinars at 6 p.m., 6:30 p.m. IST. But anyways, I appreciate all of you joining in. And I'm sure this would be worth your investment of time and money, what you have invested into this learning. And this metaphor came to me around a couple of years back when I was myself into a coaching and a transformation engagement. And I will reveal more about this as we move ahead. So just a quick introduction about myself. I think many of you are already connected with me on LinkedIn. I do see a couple of my ex-colleagues also here in the webinar. So thanks for joining. So they already know me. My full name is Ashutosh Bhatodekar. I'm an enterprise agile coach, a transformation leader, and a learner. Those are my coordinates. So if any of you would like to connect with me, and if you are not connected, please feel free to connect with me, and I would be happy to have you as your as a connection. All right. So let me start with a small kind of a icebreaker. And initially, I have kept all of you on mute, but in between, I'll be unmuting you. So this is just to ensure that the flow is a little better flow for all of us. So obviously, the world we live in, right? I mean, I think all of us have seen how our lives have become in the last 2 to 3 months, right? And to be very honest, I never thought that at Saturday evening, 9 p.m., I would be actually sitting in front of my laptop and delivering this webinar. There's something else which I used to do on a Saturday evening, either watch a nice movie or go in for some fine dine restaurant and enjoy food. But this is something very, very unique what has happened to all our lives. And in fact, this has not only happened to my life, I think this has happened to each one of us who are in the webinar today. The last 2, 3 months have predominantly been very much upside down, as we know, right? By a small virus called as COVID, which has totally disrupted the way we work, the way we live, the way we interact with each other, whether at workplace, whether in our personal relationship or family relationship. It has completely disrupted the entire way of life. And a very interesting quote which I read a few days back. There are decades where nothing happens, and there are weeks where decades happen. Very apt for the time we live in, right? I mean, last few weeks, as I said, and hardly a few spots on that map you see which have been unaffected. Otherwise, if you see, this has been the pattern across the world. And I firmly believe that as coaches and transformation agents, we have a big uphill ahead, because the way we are going to do coaching, the way we are going to lead our teams, the way we are going to mentor our teams, that is drastically going to change. Because all these days, if you remember, we all were saying that for a coaching to be effective, you have to be physically present with the person. Now that entire thing has got disrupted in the last 2 to 3 months. So now how do I do a remote coaching, for example? Or how do I do a coaching over a Zoom or a WebEx where I can't even understand the emotions of that person? I can see that person, but I can't even understand, or I cannot even feel the emotions of that person. So as I said, as coaches, as transformation leads, this is going to be one of the most challenging aspect we would be having in our coaching journey. So that's what I wanted to start with. Nothing related with this topic, though indirectly it is still related. I mean, the whole intent about this webinar is to give you thought-provoking ideas. and to come out with something better for situations like this. Like, for example, if I want to do a gamification for a remote coaching, how do I go about and do that gamification exercise? Or if I want to devise a different game or a different way in which I keep my participants engaged, what I should be doing. So this will definitely trigger that thought process in your mind, and it will help you come out with better, I would say, gamification ideas and gamification tools, if I were to put it. And yes, we can talk about remote coaching again towards the end of this session. Let me first give some standard disclaimers. The colors of the card, which I'm going to talk about. So as you know, right, playing cards, I think all of us must have seen the playing cards. There are only two colors in a playing card, red and black. So black doesn't mean that something dark or something. Okay, it is just for purely distinguishable purpose that we are going to have those two colors, red and black. Okay, it is more to do with the personalities. It is more to do with the style in which people operate. Okay, I do have a couple of my ex-colleagues in this session here. As I can see, this is more for them. And because other people may not be able to identify some patterns, but people who have worked with me can easily know which are the personalities I'm talking about. So this is not a work of fiction. Okay, this is not a work of fiction, and any resemblance to a person or an event is quite possible. All right, so these are all real use cases. Obviously, these are masked use cases. I have not put in the names of the people there for obvious reasons. But these are real use cases which I have experienced in my transformation journey. These are real cases which I have seen. And this is something which I want to present here. What are the personality dynamics which we see in our day-to-day life? And I'm sure when you look at those combinations or pictures, you can also correlate with your world. I'm pretty sure that some characteristics or traits are bound to be observable in what you have experienced in your entire coaching journey or in your transformation journey. Okay. I, as an individual, respect and value all the roles which people perform. So whether you're working as a developer, whether you're working as a QA, whether you're working as a Scrum Master, as an Agile coach, as a manager, as a CIO, I, as an individual, respect all the roles. This webinar is not intended to degrade any role. What we are trying to understand is some of the patterns. What we are trying to understand is some of the traits in this particular journey. Okay. All the information used for this presentation is publicly available. There is no patent. I don't own a patent on any of these. The game is something which I have designed on my own. But otherwise, whatever information you see on this slide, you do google.com and you will be able to retrieve that information. Though slide number 7, 8, 9, those are essentially my piece of work which I have used. But otherwise, the playing cards and all, I think, as you know, right, it is publicly available. It's in a public domain. Number 5, you have to put yourself in the shoe of a change agent or a transformation leader when you're understanding this webinar. So don't think that you are a project manager or you are, let's say, a CIO or you are a CXO of a company. You have to put yourself as a transformation leader. You have to create a persona of yourself as a person who has been hired by the company as a change agent, as an agile coach or a transformation leader, and then you are doing this transformation. And number 6, I believe in gender neutrality. So although there would be a queen there, obviously the name of the webinar itself is Queen of Hearts. There's a king there, but it's a gender neutral society. It's a gender neutral world. Okay, so we are not going into that debate of a gender in neutrality. So it's a belief that entire narrative of this webinar is on gender neutrality. So these are some of the standard disclaimers which I wanted to give before I move ahead. All right. So before I move ahead, these are some of the important things which I wanted to just make sure that we are on the same page. Okay. Now, I think all of us have seen playing cards, right? I mean, these are the 4 types of pictures in a playing card. And obviously, it depends on game to game. In some game, ace is the biggest card. In some game, you will find king as the biggest card. So let's first concentrate on the picture cards. So picture cards are aces, king, queen, and jack. So those are the picture cards what we have. Assume that 1 to 10 are your team members. Let's assume for this entire webinar that 1 to 10 card, 2 to 10, not 1 to 10. Ace is already here. 2 to 10, a 9-member scrum team you have. Okay, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's exactly as per the scrum guide, 3 to 9 team members. Okay, aces, king, queen, and jack. These are the picture cards. In this particular gamification scenario, they represent a hierarchy in your world or in your engagement. So they represent role, they represent power, they represent style, and they have some personality attributes. So in this gamification exercise, aces are your senior management, your CIO, CXO level people who essentially have to be bought into that agile transformation story. So if you're going to sell an agile transformation story, it has to be a top down as well as a bottom up approach, of course. But more importantly, when it is a top down approach, you have to sell this story to the CIO or the CXO. These are representing your senior management in your organization where you are a transformation leader. Remember that disclaimer that you are a transformation leader. Aces are the senior management and they can be of four type: a club, a spade, a diamond, and a heart. We'll talk about those four suits. Those are called as suits. These are called as picture cards. Coming back to the picture card, king is nothing but your project leadership team, your project leadership. So it could be your delivery head, it could be your delivery manager. And believe me, although Scrum talks about only three roles, these roles really don't go out of the transformation we are doing it. There's still a delivery leadership team, or there's still a project and a product leadership team, which is a part of it. So let's put it as a project leadership team. Your delivery head, your business unit head, or your divisional head, those kind of people. And if you look at the CEO in the ACEs, they are visionary people. They have a vision, they have a strategy or a strategic goal. Your project leadership is more into that goal of meeting the project objectives. It's more into relationship building. It's more into that how do we ensure that the relationship is built between the various stakeholders. Queen. Queen represents your Scrum Master, who is the coach for the team. So Scrum Master, remember the definition of the Scrum Master as per the official Scrum guide says that the Scrum Master is the coach for the team, and he or she has to ensure that the team is in line with the Scrum principles, right? Is in line with this what the Scrum guide says. He or she is the gatekeeper of the Scrum process. That is what we have given the role. So I'm just introducing you the key actors of this role play. All right. Jack. Jack is, any guesses who could Jack be? Quick guesses who could Jack be? You can just write it on the chat window, or you can also speak now. Who could be Jack? You'll have to unmute yourself and speak. Yes, I think a couple of you got it right. So Jack is, who is Jack? Yes, couple of you got it right on the chat window. No, people who drive projects are the king, no, the project leadership. Those are not Jack. Jack is the product owner. Sometimes they exhibit command and control. But obviously these are domain experts. These people are nothing but your domain experts, what you have. So that is what we call as the Jack. So are these four picture cards clear to each one of you? Are these picture cards clear to each one of you? What each one is performing the role? So it's like a movie, as I said, right? I mean, I'm introducing you to the key actors in the movie. So like in the movie also, right? We have the main actor, the hero, heroine, villain, of course, is there. Then character artists are there. It's something like that. What I would request is take a screenshot and keep it with you for the time being. Just take a screenshot and keep it somewhere with you, or keep this file handy with you, because you might need it in the next discussion as we move ahead, because it's very easy to forget these things, because the pictures are very close, right? The colors especially. So just take a picture and keep it with you. Okay, now let us move ahead and let us try to understand what these suit cards represent. What are suits? Suits are those four things what we have. Spade. So we have spade, club, diamond, and heart. So these are representing the personality traits. So if I am a ace of spade and if I am a jack of spade, I will have some personality traits in common. Okay, if I am a king of heart and if I am a queen of heart, there will be some personality traits which are common. Are you getting it? So there's some personality traits. So if I am a two card of heart, the personality trait will closely resemble heart. Okay, so spade personality, uh, population in a spade personality are very, very direct and blunt. These are no nonsense people and they love to hear unfiltered information. So don't try to hide anything with these people. They are very, very straightforward people. They call spade a spade. They will call spade a spade, as we say. So I put it as people or personality types who are very, very direct. See, remember, each of these suits will have some positive traits and some gray shades also. I won't call it as a negative shades, but I will call it as shades of gray also. And I think this is what we observe in real life also. When we work with the individuals, when we work with people, we observe this with them in real life also. Okay, so that is what we have spade as the people who are very, very direct, who are no nonsense guys. They like unfiltered data. So you can't fool around with such personalities. You have to really be prepared when you're going for a meeting with these people. Heart. Heart personality people are very, very emotional people. They display a lot of warmth. They display a lot of empathy and they display lot of strong emotional quotient. They are very, very people centric. But remember, the negative trait here is that sometimes they're too goody goody. These people are too goody goody in projects, which sometimes creates a problem. All right. So these are very, very emotional people, what we have. They are very, very people centric. They are warmth. They have a lot of human sense, as we call. Too much, sometimes this human sense becomes too sweet as a sugar. That is also what we need to understand. It becomes too sweet as a sugar. All right. Mm, yes. Next one. Club. What do you think a club would be representing? Club. Club is something like this. So let me show you club. Club are very, very hardworking people. They are knowledgeable, but sometimes they display signs of confusion. They're too much bogged with work that they fail to look at the big picture. So sometimes they appear as unclear as and confused. They usually operate in the unknown territory. They just come in the morning, start doing the work, probably will take a break of 5 minutes for tea, just 15 minutes for lunch. And they're always bogged down by work. But on the good side of it, they're very, very hardworking and knowledgeable. All right, they're definitely knowledgeable people. They are hardworking, but many times they display signs of lack of clarity or confusion, what we call it. Right. So these are club. Diamond personality people are very, very money minded and they are very, very driven by numbers. So they're always looking for a tangible output. They are focused on output. So they see numbers in everything. So they want numbers in everything. They want so if they're working in your product, they would want to monetize the product as quickly as possible, or they would like to be having the product being bought by majority of the people, or they are the people. Sometimes if it's a social product like Arogya Setu, let's say, and if you have a diamond personality person there, this person would like more people to download this app. So they are heavily number driven personalities. So two things. One is these pictures, which represent the role, hierarchy, power, style, and personality. The second one are these suits, which represent more on the personality, or rather, more than personality, it's the behavior pattern, what you have. Any questions so far before we move ahead? Any questions so far? Uh, okay, I've just yeah, you can unmute yourself and ask a question.
Ashutosh, just one question.
Hmm.
Like, is there anything like a person can move between these personalities? Like, if a person is
Okay,
very,
good
they
question.
can.
I good question. I liked it. Yes, possible. It is possible, right? I mean, we have seen that happening in our work life also many times. People exhibit one behavior pattern, and suddenly you'll find that over a period of time they have transitioned into others. Also, one more important thing, what I'm telling you are the key characteristics. So it's like your astro science. I don't know if any of you reads these astrology in newspaper. You have the 12 signs, right? Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Sagittarius, etc. So when a astrological opinion comes for a I would say a star sign, let's say it comes for Sagittarius tomorrow morning in Times of India, do you think 100% of that happens to me if I'm a Sagittarius? No, right? It is probably 60 or 50 or in some cases 70% of what happens. So what these cards, at least these suit cards represent is that majority of the traits are like this. But there could be, as I said, some areas of gray coming in, or some, I would say, mixture of these cards coming in into your personality. So yes, absolutely possible. Yes. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'll answer that question, Vijay, a little later because the way the game is designed is slightly different way. And I would strongly encourage you to practice this game maybe from tomorrow and see how you can apply it in your working area. But I'll answer that question a little later about the Vijay question which Vijay has put on the chat window. Any other question? Okay. So I'll move ahead then. Now let us say that Uh, obviously, as I said, right? What I said earlier was in when you work in a project or when you're put in an engagement, as I said, you have to assume you're an agile coach. So here, for the argument's sake, I have put in my picture as an agile coach, and I have tried to analyze the various combinations. Now, any idea how many mix and match combinations are possible between these picture cards and between the these cards, the suit cards? How many mix and match combinations are possible? Yes. So these are 16 cards, by the way. These are 16 cards what we have. So how many combinations are possible? Let's say you are assuming a team. So your team is going to be formed across this layer. So across this layer, a team is going to be formed. The core team, if I were to say. So how many combinations are possible? 120? Uh, well, I was poor in mathematics in school, to be very honest. But I think one of the participants told me it is around 280 something. 288 or something. Mathematically, if you do the probability, it is 288. Yeah, I don't know if it is 16 factorial or something, but someone told me that it is 288. I have not figured out. See, to be very honest, even I have not gone through all the combinations in my coaching journey. All right. So yeah, I think someone is saying 288. Yeah, Vijay. Yeah, thanks. Yes, yeah, so that's what the other person also told me in another program, that it's 288 combinations possible. All right, let's move ahead. So the game begins now. Now, let us say I am a coach in an engagement. Now, you have to answer, okay? Rather than me talking about, you will have to answer because I think let's play this game now. All right, let's say I am an agile coach in a transformation engagement where my senior management is a diamond. You know the personality traits of a diamond and the senior management. My delivery head is a heart, king of heart. My scrum master is a queen of spade. And my PO is a club jack. What do you think will happen to me as an agile coach when I enter here? What are the things which I will encounter here? Can anyone tell me? You can unmute yourself and speak. Yes, think over it. Yes, anyone would like to give their opinion here?
Sure, I will try.
Yes, yes, sure,
Uh,
sure. Go ahead. Yeah, yeah. There's no right or a wrong answer. Go ahead. Please go ahead.
yeah,
Yeah.
just my point of view.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, agile coach in this scenario will face the senior management in terms of heavy cost pressure and results.
Mm-hmm.
Although we may have good equation with project leadership, because project leadership is kind at heart,
Mm-hmm.
and project leadership may display servant leadership. With the Scrum Master, it will be like again spade a spade. So uh, typical command and control to get
Mm-hmm.
things online
Okay.
and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And the product owner will be knowledgeable and hard worker. So in that manner,
Mm-hmm.
will be good in prioritization, but uh, will also go through some difficulties in terms of like how to structure the releases and get the best out of the team.
Mm-hmm. Yes, absolutely right. But if you look at me, only one point I would like to differ what you said. Probably it's a good person, it's a good combination to have this person, because let's not consider number driven only in the negative side, in the cost pressure and all what you said. Number driven means this person is also interested in the business outcomes, in the transformation. He or she is also interested in the business output. What exactly is this product monetizing, and how so it will be a good challenging piece for an agile coach to get these numbers. But as you rightly said, this person, if this person exhibits command and control because she is a spade, she will invariably try to overpower this personality, because this personality is more of a heart, too much of a human sense.
Right.
And many times you will find that the pressure could also be on this person to deliver, because he's a hard working, and many times, as I told you, right, club is unknown. So the equation between this person and this person could be a little hazy, because this person diamond is expecting numbers, and this person is too much bogged down into day-to-day transactional work, that the PO might fail to see a big picture. So as a coaching strategy, as a coach, how will you coach these
Ashutosh,
people?
can I quickly add a point?
Yes, yes, sure, sure. Who's
Uh,
that?
this is Vijay here.
Yeah, yeah,
Vijay.
Vijay. Yeah, yeah.
Hi, nice to be talking to you after a long time.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, my reading of the situation is the agile coach has his task cut out in this scenario, because what's going to happen is this: the spade is going to overwhelm the
Hmm.
king, and what happens usually in these scenarios is that the ace would end up starting establishing direct relationship with the spade, because
Absolutely. I was about to
he
come.
would,
Yeah, sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
yeah,
Hmm.
he or she would find this person nice and wishy-washy but not effective. So I think that the coach has a task cut out trying to coach this king to be
Hmm.
able to succeed. This is really I've seen these scenarios play out.
True, true, true. And I think you'll have to coach this person to be more assertive,
Yes,
because this is a
yeah, that is going to be very difficult because
true, true, true. I mean, this is a too goody person, as I said, right? Heart, too much of emotion. He will not even cross question. I'm not saying that you should not be emotional. You have to definitely be emotional, but he will become too much of a human sense, as we say, right? I mean, as you rightly said, this person will find it convenient to establish a working relationship with this person. And the danger of this transformation is both of them try to exhibit command and control culture, because these two personalities are inherently weak here, somewhat weak. Their strengths are not utilized, their weaknesses are overpowered in this engagement, as you rightly said, Vijay. Anyone else would like to add
I
anything? Yeah,
just I want to add any just
who,
add
who's this? Asma,
this
right?
is Asma. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, Asma, go
So
ahead.
just wanted to add just a scenario which I've seen in for one of my colleague. She was a Scrum Master for one of the team, and she is like a Queen of Hearts, like that kind
Hmm.
of a personality,
Uh-huh.
where she absolutely believes in agile, and she believes in the not command and control, but she gives that opportunity for the team to pull the task and to decide on the story points and all those things. So she's more of a team driven, whatever team says and all those things. But then that what happens is like because of the management, there is a pressure of the delivery, and
Hmm.
she is under she takes that pressure to her, but she does not transfer it to the team. And somewhat the management doesn't see her as an effective person and replace her with a queen of spades, a person who is like command and control type, and who takes the team left and right on not
Absolutely.
updating on the task daily, putting the hours and all those
Hmm.
things.
Hmm. True, true,
So
true. I mean, and
so I am not sure like what does the scrum master should be. A scrum master should
yeah,
be
yeah,
like
that we'll discuss.
okay.
That we'll discuss shortly. Like we'll, I mean, the so as we said, right? I mean, there are some inherent personality traits, and yeah. So our coaching blueprint for such team would be that we have to satisfy senior management for measures and outcomes. Obviously, because that's what their expectation is. The delivery head, we have to coach him or her to be more assertive and open. And SM the reverse, we have to coach this personality for a servant leadership style, and you have to coach the PO here and maybe assist them in his work. I'm not saying that you have to write user stories for this PO, but probably you will have to arrange for a training for the PO here, or how to manage the work. I mean, that's a universal trait with a club personality. A club personality is something which you have to arrange a training. I mean, that you will find across all the combinations.
Yeah. One additional thing, Ashutosh, I just want to add is
Hmm.
this. See, usually I don't want to dig deep into psychology. Is
Hmm. Hmm.
good-natured, hard-to persons usually are the ones who lack the sufficient knowledge, and as a result, they feel intimidated by the person who has the club or
Hmm. Hmm.
yard. So it's more of being intimidated because of lack of that sufficient strength compared to the person who is the club. So
Correct. Hmm.
the agile coach should somehow be able to understand that, and help them become
Hmm.
competent in something which the spade is not as good. Just
True, true. Absolutely right. Yeah, yeah. I mean, yes. I mean, we get a feeling of inferiority complex, as you rightly said, that I'm probably less knowledgeable, especially if I'm a heart, and that's where that challenge happens. Yes, absolutely right. As I said, all these combinations I have faced. Please don't ask me the names of the people, but people
I
who have,
have a question, Ashutosh here. I am
yes,
Shailja.
yes.
I have a scenario where there is no agile coach at all. So in that kind of scenario,
Hmm.
who will be there to tell the organization how a scrum master should be, how a
Hmm.
delivery head or the team manager should be?
No, no, no. Okay, so I think my mistake, I did not clarify, and purposely I did not clarify. We'll discuss this. So this exercise, as coaches or as persons in the organization, whom do you involve this exercise with? Do you call all these people in a meeting room and discuss this? Or how do you go about doing it? Say tomorrow, if you want to apply this exercise in your workplace, how will you do it on Monday, let's say?
If I want to do this exercise, I have
Huh.
to speak up in the COP, Agile COP, which is a set of
Hmm.
people who are practicing Agile in the, like, say it's a set of Agile Scrum Master and few people who are interested to be a part of that community.
Okay, so I won't agree there. I think the first thing you should do is you should do this exercise on your own at home or at a secluded place, because see, you can't directly label people like this. They might take it
Yeah,
in an offense.
I
So,
can only speak about
ha,
it, but I
ha,
cannot
ha,
label or practice it.
correct, correct. So don't take it in a public forum. What I'm trying to tell. Do this only individually with you first, and then try to come out with your. See, this is more as an internal gamification exercise for you as a coach, and to come out with your blueprint, your coaching strategy or a coaching blueprint. and then you can show it later towards the end of the transformation, that this is what the team was earlier and this is how I have transformed the team. So don't do it in a
One thing,
huh? Yes.
one thing you certainly need, Ashutosh, for this to succeed is your executive sponsorship. You
Exactly. I mean, the person who has hired you as an agile coach, whosoever is the person who has
right,
been brought in into this idea, yes, the executive leadership, you need a buy-in to come out with such an experiment. Otherwise, it will be a big flop show.
Right.
exactly.
We will get a direct opposition from our DH itself.
Correct, correct. True, true, true. That's true. Okay.
Ashutosh, we see a correlation to the DISC framework here because D for direct
I
or
know, I know.
dominant, I for introvert, S for
Hmm.
steady, and C for compliant.
So,
Somehow, I think the spade and the club is not readily matching it, but the other two, hearts
hmm,
and the diamond, is
diamond,
readily matching the direct and introvert kind
introvert,
of
huh?
personalities.
Hmm. No, no, I've not, to be very honest, I've not studied the DISC framework in detail. I just know that it exists. But this is a gamification exercise, which I said in the beginning. I experienced it, and I actually this came out of a frustration in one of the transformation, where it was a totally hodgepodge scenario and nothing. So it was multiple heads taking that project in different direction, and how we actually collapsed in that project as a unit, which is where brought down to this gamification exercise. Okay, let me take you to scenario 2 now. Yes, just observe it and let me know.
I think this is an ideal scenario, Ashutosh, based on these personality sets.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Do
So
you
you
want me to
think
talk? Do you
it's
want?
a
Yeah,
no, no, no. I'm just listening to you. So you're saying that this is the ideal scenario.
yeah,
Okay. I feel again. Anyone else before I reveal my comments?
yeah. After that, I can give you my rationale
Yes,
behind.
yes, sure, sure. No, no issues.
I also believe to some extent this is matching only if we exchange like the senior management and the product owner pictures, maybe.
No, product owner is okay, right? I mean, a business number driven product owner.
No, no, that's right. So it's mostly it's coming ideal
Well,
way.
Ashutosh, the Scrum Master area is a little difficult. You cannot be good every time.
Good.
Yeah, that
They
Yeah.
that
are
becomes a different
expected.
situation. You have
No,
to agree
but
with everyone.
Scrum Masters are expected to be servant leadership, right? They can be only leader. They
Agreed.
can't. They can't whip
Agreed.
anybody.
But they
But
can't
in
whip
real,
anyone. But when you agree with everyone, you don't reach conclusion.
yeah, I agree to that situation when that Scrum Master was like too good. So she was removed out of the team because she was too
So
good.
that's why Asma, I think you gave that example earlier, right? I mean, she was too
Yeah.
goody. I think you said, right, Asma, you were the one, right, who gave
Yeah,
that.
I was the one. Yeah, yes, Ashutosh.
So what happened to that Scrum Master? I mean, she was out of the project.
She was out of the team, and
Hmm.
instead of her, like the Queen of Spade, that kind of a person who
Oh,
was
okay.
like a command and control, who can take the team to
Hmm.
the a controlled way, and who can give the leadership team the actual results or numbers. Because
Hmm.
what leadership was feeling is because the Scrum Master was too good with the team was not estimating it properly, and they were like estimating it very less. But
Hmm.
when the Queen of Spade came, and she was very strict, and she was very, because of that fear, they agreed. So
Hmm.
somewhat something like that happened, and that the leadership was very happy with that kind of a Scrum Master.
Got it. Got it. Yeah. So yes, yeah, I appreciate your point, and yeah, I mean, sometimes too much of a sugar is not good for health, right? I mean, that situation could happen here. Like if you try
Exactly.
to, yeah, if you had I mean, if I'm always good all the times to everyone, then also the project could be in a mess. Because then you will find
Exactly.
that half of my team is on leave only always. So कुछ
No,
Or
किसी
but then Scrum Master should be that way,
हाँ,
right?
some master should be that way. But coming back to the earlier question, which
but
was
the
asked.
point here will be that, well, when if you are very good, the problem is one person is asking you to be having numbers, the other person is like command and control, another one is hardworking. But if you are very good, then the team, if they are not delivering so well, what do you do?
So one thing I think which people did not brought about. Let me ask you this: how would be the relationship between these two people? Let's take a different dimension. So I think, yeah, pretty much this is okay. What I think I agree that pretty much this combination is okay, though with a caveat. What Ayan is also trying to say, that you have to watch this person when you're coaching. You have to keep an eye on this person, that he's not too much of a goody person. But as a coach, what will you find when you observe these two personalities interacting, because these are senior management and delivery head with those cards.
See, there's not going to be much love lost, but it's going to be very transaction oriented, is what I feel.
Hmm.
And it's not necessarily bad. And many organizations, if you see some of the top organizations, uh, the organizations that have succeeded, right?
Hmm.
The senior leadership is always heartless. Many times,
Hmm.
they're cutting people. They're brutal with their feedback, and
Hmm.
I have personally seen it. And
Correct, correct.
those organizations have not done bad. They've done very well because of sometimes they come across brutal, but at the end of the day, that was necessary for the success of the organization.
Hmm.
And also in this case, the Scrum Master being kind of loving. I mean, we are talking about servant leadership. They're supposed to um, set
Right.
example, facilitate things. And the diamond is not necessarily a bad worker. It's just that they probably need a little more, um, their edges need to be softened a little bit, and which the Scrum Master could play a ideal foil for the
Hmm.
character.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Ashutosh, my viewpoint will be like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Go ahead.
the,
Yeah. Yeah.
the Queen of Hearts uh, for a Scrum Master will be best scenario if the team's self-organizing and cross-functional.
Right.
I
Right.
think one the scenario in which Scrum Master was replaced with the Queen of Spades is when the team are not self-organized or not self-empowered as such. So
Hmm.
it's not a bad scenario to have a Scrum Master with the Queen of Heart and product owner who is the business representative to be focused on outcomes. And on the senior management and delivery head, the relationship will be really tough in this scenario
Hmm.
because senior management will be more directive towards strategy and vision, and
Hmm.
they wanted to see that strategy and vision is concrete and is taking best shape and getting into execution. Whereas in delivery head, if the person is of a club who is although knowledgeable and hardworking, but if the person is unclear and not so focused as such, the relationship will be is for a rough ride because the senior management will not get the confidence that their strategy is fading or is not getting into purpose as such.
Yeah.
They will also look at seeing that okay, the goals are taking long time to come true as such. So the relationship will be of a rough ride, and agile
Yeah.
coach will have
Hmm.
a tough time uh, to to coach them in the right sense.
Yeah, because club, one of the things is sometimes it is confusing also. And if a delivery head is confused at that level, right, then it's a problem. Yes, agree. And then, as I said, you will have to coach the senior delivery head also here. You have to coach the SM on assertive skills. And for PO, you have to just keep a watch. I mean, this is a number driven personality. But you have to keep a watch, but you have to also see that he doesn't become too much fixed with number. He also understands the technical challenges or the technical priorities which the team has. Because here the situation could be that if the scrum master is a heartful person, he or she may not be able to protect the team if the PO tries to influence or push back something. That could happen. So as I said, we are just, I mean, obviously, we won't be able to discuss all the 288 combinations.
But
And
one
yeah,
thing
yeah,
to mind, Ashutosh, I mean, it
yes.
appears to me we are trashing the person with the heart, no? In the earlier case study also.
No, no, we are not trashing. What I'm saying is what people also said, right? I mean, if your team is self-organized, heart is the best personality to have.
Right, right,
Ha,
right.
ha, ha. I mean, you need that emotional, and especially in today's time, we do need that emotional connect. As I
Right.
said, right? I mean, as a coaching strategy, how will you devise your coaching strategy for remote coaching? You do need that heart. So probably that scenario, you definitely need a heart personality. What I'm saying is, as a coach, you have to make that person more assertive. Assertive is not making him aggressive or her aggressive. It's more
Agreed,
assertive.
agreed. So SM area is only, if it is, then it's about only assertive skills. There is nothing more that needs to be done.
Ha, ha, correct, correct. Okay. Yeah, as I said, I have not experienced all the 288 combinations. What about this? One last combination. Yeah, we're almost at 9:50. Yeah, one last combination. Quick observations around this.
Very rare to find such a kind of a senior management.
Yeah,
Because
this is one of the
No,
very
one of
no.
the
ruthless and
scenarios.
Rarest scenario.
Maybe
Yeah,
we
one
you
have,
of
we
the
have,
you
rarest.
no, but see, on a different note, I think we have, like in India, we have the Tata Group, right?
We
Something
have.
closer. Tata Group, I'm saying Tata Group, and then I don't know which other example we can give in India. Apart from Tata Group, I'm not thinking anything else.
TVS
yeah,
group and
TVS, yes. TVS is another one with a lot of empathy-based leadership.
but
Yeah,
this
down
is
to
a rarest kind of scenario.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Very rarest. Let's not name
no,
other huh?
it's
Sorry.
not rare. It is one
Ah,
of the old kind of conservative organizations are structured like this. I mean, things that are more than 50, 60, 70 years old organizations are constructed like this. You know, there's zero firings, and if you'll have, of course, employees at a lower level is much frustrated because growth is slow. But I've seen this, but it's usually mostly in these old conservative organizations. Um, just my view.
yes, yes, sure. And what about the delivery head? SM and PO. So that's a PO. That's a typo there. That's a should be O.
That,
Okay, I was wondering what it was. The problem here is the lower level would definitely will there'll be attrition because they feel there's reached a ceiling. Any decision making, there'll be a little bit wishy-washiness because if you look at delivery head um, and SM and PO, they are very focused, sharp edged, and they're going to go with radical decisions to the top, and the top would try to think about from human angle.
Correct, correct. Hmm.
And I feel that is where attrition will pick up because people won't stand for it.
Correct. I mean, if this is a very, very dynamic personality, number driven, and this would be more like a human sense management. Yes. That's where that attrition could hit there. Yes.
And if this,
however, when you talk about attritions in this case, if DH is like number driven and senior management is like goody goody, they will be still happy, right? So we are, because if somebody is number they were in business, they are only looking at the positive side of it,
Hmm.
negative number. So anyways, the senior management will not have any trouble with it.
Mostly senior management will be uh, coming in touch only in terms of governance or steering committee kind of, but in the day-to-day action, it will be between delivery heads, Scrum Master, product
Exactly,
owner, and
exactly.
the teams. And
Hmm.
another scenario with product owner being a spade is like the team will have very tough to execute because of the prioritization the product owner does.
Yes, that's very true. Thank you for
Yes, yes,
bringing
yes.
that up.
I mean, yes.
I'm
So,
working in a situation like this as of now.
oh, I was about to ask that question. Has any of you have faced this combination one, two, and three so
Well,
far?
the PO situation is something like that as of now. That I'm okay.
Okay.
So having a little tough time on that because when
Hmm.
you're working, but when you're unclear,
Hmm.
okay, that becomes a very tough choice for product delivery.
Hmm. Hmm.
Okay, because the PO actually is the person who gives you the breakdown of how you should, what are the
But
things.
here it is a spade, right? Here he's more direct. The
It's
spade. Sorry, sorry. Go ahead.
yeah, so more direct. Yeah,
So that was the earlier one. Club PO is a problem. What you're talking about is a club PO.
yeah. Okay.
But Spade is a little more direct upfront. But then he might try to overpower this personality. Because as I said, right, I mean, the protection of your team. Remember, there are cards 2 to 9 also, which are your team members. You have
Hmm.
to protect them. So as a coach also, you have to ensure, and as a scrum master also, you have to ensure that the other team members are protected. So from that angle also, you'll have to see. So when you talk about transformation, it's also with your leadership. It's also at your team level and obviously the middle management level.
Well, I don't see a lot of trouble between PO and SM in this case.
Mm-hmm. SM is more
If the goals are
hardworking.
clear, if the goals are more clear, then it's not that difficult.
Yeah, this is
Mm.
similar to earlier where the senior management and DH had same combination.
It's
So
just reversed.
yes,
Just so because if
But
the
if
there, it should not be a big problem.
Mm.
but this works. So Ashutosh, this model does
Mm-hmm.
work because if you go to companies like TVS or one of these old traditional organizations, no matter how frustrated they are, people don't quit because they think of
Mm.
it as a career rather than as a job.
Correct, correct. Yes, yes. I mean, if you'll find in such organizations, there are people who have completed 20 years, 25 years,
Right.
I think
and
that's because they're emotionally attached to the brand as well, and also the to the company leadership.
hmm.
One the classic example is the 2008 Taj Mumbai shootout,
Yes,
right? So when that
yes.
happened, I think after that, after the I think the hotel staff helped the guests as well. And then when Ratan Tata came back to have a visit, I think he honored everybody whoever had helped the guests to have a safe passage, and also uh, it was a classic case study of how an organizational leader should be, and how a brand should be, and how the employees reacted as a response. So
True,
that is the
true.
emotional connect they have with the brand.
That's right. Yes, yes. I mean, it could be because of a emotional connect also, right? I mean, you still find a lot of people. I mean, I'm in Pune, so a lot of people who have a pride in going in for working in with for Tata Motors. I mean, they have that pride, and they're working there for 20, 25 years. And I'm sure the same experience would be with TVS Motors also down south. So yes, I mean, that empathy factor is there, or that emotional connect.
Yes, correct. In fact, international organizations, if you're talking about even Virgin Atlantic, is something like that.
Correct, correct. I mean, Richard
I
Branson.
think
That's
more
right.
than private sector, in public sector, if you look at ISRO or
Yes,
DRDO,
ISRO.
that passion is much more because they feel a sense of pride that they're serving the nation.
Yes, yes. I mean, they have a sense of belonging, a sense of pride in serving these institutions, right? Okay. Yeah. So I think you're almost towards the end. So obviously, there is nothing called as a best possible combination or a worst possible combination. It entirely depends on the transformation engagement you are put into, and how, as a coach, you devise the strategy. And as we talked earlier, also, it's not that 100% I am having that personality traits. Always there will be a dominant personality traits, like say 60% like that, and maybe 25% of and 30% of some other trait which I'm exhibiting. So this exercise, what I feel is, as coaches, you should first internalize it rather than taking it to the wider audience. You should first internalize it, do it on your own, try to figure out where your engagement is currently, what are the challenges you as a coach are facing, and then come out with what we were just discussing, in fact, the coaching blueprint, or what should be the strategy. One technique which I follow even for coaching blueprint is I divide this into three parts. So what are the three parts? We call it as the 30, 60, 90. So what you're going to do it in next 30 days from a transformation perspective, 60 days and 90 days. In some shorter engagements, you might have to make it 15, 30, 45. What you're going to do in 15 days, 30 days, and 45 days. So you can further compartmentalize it into these three smaller time slots or a time frame, and then come out with a coaching strategy around it. So as I said, this is a gamification exercise which I devised. I found it very useful. Obviously, I have not gone through all the 288 combinations. I don't think in my lifetime I will ever achieve uh, that milestone of going through all the possible combinations of these diverse personalities. And I'm sure that you would have experienced some patterns of this, if not the entire combination by itself, but some patterns of it. I'm sure you would have experienced it in your coaching career, in your coaching engagement. I would recommend this is one exercise you can start using it right from tomorrow morning. It's not at all difficult also. You just have to create this, understand these personalities. You have to understand what are their key motivation, and then come out with a strategy around it. Right. Yeah. So we are almost at the end of the webinar. Any quick questions? I know we had a lot of questions in between. And as I said, there's nothing called as worst possible. It depends on the scenario. But normally in a workshop, we ask people to do the best possible, the worst possible, and the most likely. I'm a big fan of that 3 point thing: best possible, worst possible, and the most likely. So yeah, any quick questions around it?
Ashutosh, Jawahar here.
Yes, yes.
As a coach who's kind of recruited for a transformation,
Hmm.
who doesn't know anything about the people because they're new to the organization, how do you go about identifying these personalities? A. And B, another question is, regardless of these combinations, in terms of this grouping of personalities, you would be having some common kind of, okay, if it is of this category, you would probably use these techniques or coaching kind of, yeah, what coaching is required. Can you share those?
See, to answer your A question, see, when you go in as a coach, obviously you won't know on the first day that who's of what characteristic. You will, when you converse with them, when you observe them, it would take at least, I would say, minimum of 2 weeks to come to a conclusion, or at least firm up. If I am not, I won't say harden up, but at least come out with a kind of a personality types what you have. So when you start attending their meetings, when you start attending their events, you come to know about these personalities. Also, there is lot of data which you as a coach collect. I always call it as a spy model. So if I go as a spy in an enemy country, obviously I know the fact that I alone cannot get all the information about that enemy country. So what do? I recruit some sleeper cells, right? I
Yeah,
recruit some agents who actually are my point of contacts in those enemy country. Similarly here, you have to come out with those sleeper cells in each of your scrum team. You have to identify the people who can be your, I would say, the sleeper cells who will give you that, or who will feed you that information at periodic level. So that's the strategy which you will have to apply and get this information extracted.
right.
And yeah, to your B question. So what was your B question? Sorry, can you repeat?
I was saying that when you have, at a major level, when you have these four categories, for each of these categories, what would be your common uh, coaching techniques be?
No, I mean, it's entirely driven by these personalities. I mean, what I wrote here, right?
Yeah,
Broadly, I go by these only, these one.
yeah,
This is what I broadly go by with. But then again, this is not something which is cast in stone, right? I mean, this
yeah.
is open for interpretation. This is open for change. You can modify it at your end, right? This is something which you can also modify it and tweak it. I mean, that's what we can do it, right? But this is predominantly what I go with in any transfer. Yeah, sorry.
Okay, thank you. That's fine.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Yes.
Uh,
Any other? Yes.
yes, I have a question. Well, when we spoke about practicing it
Mm-hmm.
from tomorrow, so when we spoke about how do you do it,
Mm-hmm.
the point is when we are talking about these personalities, we should do it one-on-one, if I'm not wrong, right?
Yes, yes.
No, that's
Yes,
what.
yes, yes. You can't do a group coaching in this. Yeah, yeah. Good, good. You brought it out.
Yeah,
Group
so you
coaching
have to
means,
have a
yeah, yeah. It will be.
one-on-one.
You will be out of the room only if you do a group coaching.
Exactly.
The
So it's
good point.
basic.
Yeah, yeah. I think I missed covering that. Yeah, sorry. Go ahead, Ayan.
Yeah, so basically at every level, once you insert your spy cells, okay, and
Hmm.
information on them, you start doing a one-on-one session with them.
Correct, correct. And obviously, you're not supposed to reveal to them what is your personality trait.
No, of course not. That's something part of coaching, yes. It's about knowing the right questions and asking them what exactly they want to do and how they want to do.
Correct, correct.
So yes, okay. So this is a one-on-one situation. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Any other questions?
Yeah, I have a small question, Ashutosh. When coaching is concerned, why is
Mhm.
that team is not involved?
No, no, no. See, this particular gamification exercise is for an individual
Okay.
personality. What Ayan said. But there are techniques which we also do for group coaching, right? We do a group brainstorming. We do a
Oh,
group retrospective is one of the forums where we
yeah.
do it. So there are techniques also available for group coaching. But this particular technique, as Ayan rightly said, it's not to be tried out in a group coaching environment.
Okay. Yeah.
One last question, Ashutosh. How to
Mhm.
coach a Scrum Master who to be assertive or to be competent, and so that he or she can.
Mhm. See, to
I'm
be
guessing that will be a next course, I guess.
no, 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 not next course. See, competent, definitely competency you can build, right? I mean, you would just have to provide training to the person. But see, the mindset change, as you're trying to say, Asma, right? I mean, my personal take on this is you have to rinse and repeat, or you have to keep on harping on that message again and again. Sometimes you are accused as over communicating that thing, but it essentially has to be a one-to-one coaching with the Scrum Master and the Agile coach, and you have to be sometimes very very pointed that yes, this is a particular incident which I saw, and this is what do you think. So rather than giving a solution, you have to ask the person, do you think this actually solved a problem, or what happened? So it has to be an intense coaching, I would say. I mean, if a Scrum Master is too much of that heart personality, and you want to make that person more into an assertive skills, you have to actually bring about those events what have happened as you have been observing, and you have to actually flash it back, and then ask the Scrum Master only to be more inquisitive and get the information from that person. So it has to be a rinse and repeat again and again, I would say. So a lot of record keeping has to be done. You have to keep the chronicle of these events, because you'll find predominantly the Scrum Master who is not assertive, the person will commit multiple mistakes in that coaching, in coaching teams, and those you'll have to document. You'll have to artifact and document like a videography. You'll have to keep a record of them and then play back with the Scrum Master in a one-to-one coaching session.
One more question, Ashutosh. Like we spoke about getting information about individual personalities.
Right.
Apart from the spy things that we are talking about, can we also try out the behavioral questions? Like we have questionnaires, like where we
Hmm.
can figure out what kind of personality that is.
Correct, correct, correct.
So I guess even that is okay to do.
Yes, yes, that is also okay to do. I mean, those psychometric tests and all
Yeah,
which
psychometric tests.
yes,
I'm
yes,
talking about.
absolutely. Yes, yes. That is so yes. I mean, if your organization has got an expert who can design those, or what we had done in one of the transformation engagement was we'd actually taken the help of our competency development team. Fortunately, the L&D person was a trained psychologist herself. So she had done a graduation in psychology, so she helped us with that. But yes, that is one way also in which we can do.
Yeah. Okay.
Ashutosh, maybe probably in your upcoming sessions, can you have a small interesting session like today, where we discuss about Scrum Masters, how assertive they should be, what is the balance they need to
Hmm.
strike between how to manage, because it's a very critical situation. Scrum Master is very
Hmm.
simply understood, but it's not such a simple position. It is like, between two. It is between sandwiched between management and also the technical leadership in the team.
Correct, correct. Yeah, yeah,
Just need, because there should be a balance. When the scrum master tries to be asset to team managers who have the complete team ownership will definitely feel that they are being dominated. If they are very lovey-dovey, team will not listen to
true,
the
true.
scrum master. So what is that kind of balance where the ego and emotion of all the people who are around the scrum master when working closely with the scrum master should not be, taking it in a negative way. It should
Sure,
not
sure.
be that scrum master is behaving like a project manager. Many
True.
people expect them to behave like a project manager,
Hmm,
which
hmm,
is
hmm.
not the right thing, right?
True, true, true. Yeah, yeah. Maybe I'll notate it down. Let me see if I can come out with something on that.
No,
Because
if you can have a, we can have a gathering where you have some your intellect, your notice, whatever you have noticed, what
Hmm.
you have learned from the previous sessions. Like you go into so many coachings, you go into so many
Sure,
forums.
sure,
Yeah, that will really be helpful for upcoming Scrum Masters.
sure, sure. I'll do that. Yeah. Okay. Any other question? So yeah, I think yeah, we're almost out of time. I know it's that already past 10. Yeah. Okay. So first of all, thanks for attending this. I know Saturday evening 9 o'clock, but nothing exciting to do these days, right? On a Saturday evening also. So really appreciate. I hope this was worth your investment, and I hope you had a nice time for last 1 hour 7 minutes approximately. And if you like the session, do provide a feedback on LinkedIn about this. I'll be more than happy. And thanks for spending your time with me. Appreciate your joining in here.
It was
Thanks.
quite interesting, Ashutosh. Thank you
Thanks.
so much. I was
Yeah,
not
thanks,
expecting such
Santosh.
a lengthy discussion. I just thought it would be 30 minutes, but we only extended it.